Well, testing. 1, 2, 3. Sorry about the hair. It's a windy day out there today, and I don't look like myself. Hold on. Squeaky chair. Let's fix that. Welcome. Glad you're here. We're in the pre-show. You can tell. It says pre-show. That's how we know. So we'll have to see how things go here today. Welcome to all of you that are joining us in the pre-show. We are out of the pre-show. And we are one of those we are one of those tech shows that you get to watch a show, but if you get there early, you get to watch the pre-show. And if you come late, you can watch the post-show. And if you miss it altogether and you go back to later to watch it on YouTube, you can watch the pre-show, the show, and the post-show all in one setting. Isn't that amazing? It's a radical new concept. It's catching on around the world. Well, some parts of the world. So glad you're here, Peter, Jasper, Matrix Board, OG, of course, YOLO Live Tech. Welcome. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. This is going to be an interesting show. It's going to be an interesting show. I'm going to try to pull off something that I've never tried to pull off before. And it has a small chance of success. Anthony, welcome. Glad to have you. Welcome. Anthony's got a new show out there too. Anthony, you want to post a link to it? And I'll go into YouTube and tell him that the link is okay. Yep. Anthony has been the tech guy for, golly, who knows how long. I remember meeting him at NAB, probably 2017, maybe, when he came to do an interview with Martin Sinclair at the vMix booth about what was going on with vMix. And very impressive, very impressive. Whole new channel. He says it's too long. So there we go. We'll just have to take his word for it on that one then. His spelling hasn't gotten any better, but that's okay. You don't have to spell to be a tech guy. Yeah. So oh yeah. He's buttering me up now. He's buttering me up. Well, why don't you come on the show, Anthony, and talk about your new show? That'd be great. People would be very interested in that, I'm sure. I'll shoot you an email or a text message or something, one of those ways of contacting somebody. Yeah, so we're going to try to pull off a thing here today. And I found out that Google has a extension, I think that's what they call it, that allows speech to text. Because I had a very long video that I wanted a transcript of, and I let Google speech to text do it. It only does about 3 lines or 4 lines at a time before it sort of times out. And so that's okay, because that gives me a chance to copy it and go back and edit it, because it's not always great. But it does have different languages and different dialects within different languages. So for example, in English, it has US, it has Britain, it has New Zealand, it has Australia. You would have thought Australia and New Zealand were close enough to be the same, but no, they're 2 different ones. So if you are making a voice to text copy of something, you can pick out the language and the dialect that the user is using. It was very handy. Saved me typing it all. I had to make some corrections, and you have to do punctuation because it doesn't do any punctuation. Now the voice to text on my phone is good, and it will do punctuation, and it also recognizes words that I use regularly and puts in those words even though they're kind of weird. Byron says, will it speak for you? Well, I've never tried, Byron. I was trying the the voice that is somebody else's voice to text, because I wanted to steal the text and use it on today's show. And that will become more obvious later on. Yeah. So there we go. Glad to have Byron Lindsay in the house. Byron is an accomplished professor. A teacher, a mentor of folks that are in the sales game. And he works for major corporations, helping them in their sales bullpens to get their scripts right, and to get people trained up to be able to listen and hear certain keywords. OG says Google does have text to speech for live streams. Well, that's good. So I could write out what I wanted to say, and then Google would say it for me. Seems to be a flaw in that somewhere. And it brings in comments from YouTube and reads them aloud. Hey, that would be interesting. I wonder if I get to choose a voice with a New Zealand accent. All right, Byron says he is a sales trainer. Well, he is a lot more than that. He is a lot more than that. If you need to talk to somebody about helping your company increase its sales, and they use any kind of personal contact, whether it's telephone or in-person stuff, a conversation with him will be interesting. I mean, in 10 minutes, he taught me stuff that I've used for years. Southern Spanish. Okay, well, let's try that. Restream gives you a choice of male or female. Okay, well, that's getting there. That's getting there. I mean, what if I want my Uncle Venable, who is U.S. American from Virginia, with a good old-fashioned Virginia accent, not a Southern accent now, it's a Virginia accent, which can't be, I don't think it would be classified as Southern. But those people that know a Virginia accent know it's not like Alabama or Georgia or Mississippi or Louisiana or Tennessee or the Carolinas. Florida doesn't have an accent. So there you go. I bet you're right. I bet we could do an API that could write the script and read the script in any language or any dialect with tone and inflection included. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Maybe we'll play with that one day. I don't want to be replaced. I'm hoping I'm irreplaceable, but that really is never the case. Really is never the case. All right, watching that little clock right there, so we can get down to showtime, start time. And yeah, really excited about the vMix release, vMix 27, and it's I think it's one of the biggest releases that vMix has ever had. I mean, we'll talk some more about that, but I can't imagine a release that includes all of this in one release prior to this release. I mean, in the past, we had releases where there would be a big feature and then a couple of other little tweaks and massages to vMix. But this is big. This is big. Byron says, well, let's put Byron's words up there. What are my thoughts on Windows 11 and vMix 27? Well, here's my thought, Byron. I make my living by building PCs that people can use to stream record, whatever, with vMix. And that's my bread and butter. And if they don't work right, then my bread ends up with no butter. But so as a result, I am still putting vMix 10 on all of the PCs that I build and sell. Somebody called me about that the other day. Said, "Hey, this PC has got vMix 10 on it, but the sticker, the Windows OEM authorization sticker, is a Windows 11." I said, "Yep, that's right, because I think Windows 10 is very, very good, and Windows 11 is not quite fully baked yet. Still not quite fully baked yet." So at first I thought I wasn't going to be able to ever get Windows 10 anymore. And then I realized I can install it and use a Windows 11 license and it'll work just fine. So there we go. So I'm good with that. Matrix board MB, there are 150 more shortcuts. There are 150 more. I have looked at another one. None of them. Oh, this is Maggie. Well, go Lions. Go Blue. Yes, that's right. That's right. Don't want to have no bread. You're welcome. All right, let's do a show. Shall we do a show? It'll be fun. I promise you, it'll be fun. It'll be worth it. You ready? Here we go. Hitting the X keys, XK80, customized, obviously. Looks like my closet is what it looks like. And we're hitting one of the pink buttons there to start the show. Welcome. Glad you're here. I'm Tom Sinclair. I can tell because it says it right there. This is Streaming Idiots. You know, and I don't know why I do that kind of introduction, because if you've been here already, you were watching the pre-show and, you know, we've chatted back and forth and you know who I am and I know who you are, at least some of you. And it seems kind of artificial to welcome you to the show when you've been here all along, but that's all right. Normally we don't post just the show as our offering. We include the whole stream, the pre-show and the post-show. And so yeah. But a shout out and welcome to Kent and Tom and Gunnar. And we like it. Yeah, the intro was done by Martin Kay with Zen Video in Manchester. And he did that several years ago for me. Continue to appreciate it and love the opening of the jaws of death and releasing me into the show. So there we go. Yeah. So, hey, vMix 27. 27. Holy cow. If you were 27 years old, you know, you're a full-grown adult. vMix 27 is a full-grown, mature piece of software that somehow keeps getting better. I mean, holy cow. I thought when vMix released vMix Call that it wasn't going to get any better. When they redid the vMix Instant Replay, I thought it couldn't possibly have gotten any better. And I think about some of the other features. When vMix introduced NDI, vMix was the very first product, hardware or software, other than NewTek, to introduce NDI. Martin Sinclair, no close kin that I know of, has got incredible vision. He can see down the road. I was going to say he could see the future, but well, maybe he can't. And he can anticipate what's next. And he can be 2 steps ahead of it. vMix Social has been out for years. And then just bang, all of a sudden everybody was doing social and it became important and vMix was using and people were using it all over the place. And it was old and dusty by the time people discovered it was there. It was great, great. I use it every week. It's awesome. I wish I wish I had other people that could help me use it and like, yeah, like a partner. Anyway, we continue to I continue to be amazed that vMix can think up something that's new. And maybe vMix 27 is not new, but it's new enough that I think it's new. I think it's groundbreaking, earth-shattering. The big one is, Kent, that's right, is Zoom integration. And pandemic time, my phone rang off the hook with people wanting to know how to get Zoom into vMix, how to get vMix into Zoom, how to do both of them simultaneously, or just one way or the other. And we were using all sorts of crazy virtual audio cables and screen captures and things like that. And it kind of worked, but it was really, really glad you're here. Ken, I've got good news for you if you didn't already know it. But anyway, we'll get to that shortly. So 3 things are going to happen on this show today. Hopefully we're going to have time for all of them. Number 1, I'm going to give you an overview of vMix 27. Number 2, we're going to give away 27 vMix updates. That's right. You could win a vMix update. One of 27 people. So stay tuned about that. Yeah, don't you hate that when people say, oh, you mean I have to watch the whole crummy show in order to win it up? No, you can come back later. You can come back later. And then the third thing, and this is in no particular order, we may change the order as we go. It just all depends. The talking about the encoding that vMix 27 is allowing now with AV1 and HEVC, and what you have to have hardware-wise in order to make that work. So we'll get to that, and I've got show and tell on that too. But first, let me do what I've been working on all morning, and we'll see if this really works. All right, we got to get something queued up here. Hold on. I really wanted to have all of this happen with a punch of a button, but I couldn't get it all to work with a punch of a button. So we're going to have to do it this way. And let's see if this is going to work. Is this going to work? Yes, this is going to work. Okay. All right. So this is the this is the thing I've been working on all day, and I want you to pay attention, because
vMix 27 has just been released. So let's zoom in and talk about some of its new features. First up, we've added support for Zoom meetings right into vMix. This means you can bring in video and audio feeds of Zoom meeting participants directly into vMix. The vMix HD edition supports up to 1 participant, while vMix 4K Pro and Max edition support as many participants as your Zoom plan and internet connection allows. Participants can be brought in up to full HD as long as it is supported by your Zoom account and plan. So check the Zoom website for more information. Next, we've added a bunch of new audio features, including the new Audio Bus Manager. This allows configuring the audio buses of every input from a single, easy-to-use interface. Not only that, we've added a few new pro-level audio options, including a bus mixer for every input and the ability to configure solo and audio meters to pre-fader on a per-input basis. Next, we've added AV1 and HEVC support for RTMP streaming. These allow streaming at higher quality at the same bit rates and are currently both supported by YouTube Live. We hope other streaming platforms will start to support these new formats in the near future. AV1 requires a modern 4000 series NVIDIA GeForce GPU, while HEVC can be used on a GeForce 2000 series and higher. vMix now has a brand new layer designer. It is easier than ever before to move and align multiple layers on an input. Move, crop, and border adjustments are now available from a single interface. There's a whole lot more that's been added to vMix 27 that I don't have time to talk about here, including Stream Deck Plus support, more external outputs, and over 150 new shortcuts. You can check out the full feature list by visiting our website at vmix.com and clicking the download link. If you haven't used vMix before, you can take advantage of our fully functional 60-day trial. vMix 27 is a free update for Mac subscribers and anybody that purchased vMix since the start of 2022. For everybody else, upgrades are just $60. For a deep dive in some of these new features, check out our YouTube channel for more videos. Thanks for watching.
So I just thought I would kind of mix the Sinclairs there a little bit to see. Obviously, I needed more practice. It was really good in my head. In my head, it was just like, you know, this is good. This is going to work. This is going to be everything I want it to be. So yeah. Oh well, it was fun. It was worth a try. It was worth a try. So let's talk about HEVC and AV1. AV1, as Tim and Heath said in the vMix Funtime live show last night, and Heath put it out there, and Tim was kind of listening and scratching his head, and Heath kind of looked over, kind of like, whoops, am I saying it right or not? And Tim's just like, I've never heard anybody say it quite like that before. But AV1 is a codec, essentially, that allows no licensing. It was put together by a consortium, including Google and others, and so it doesn't require a license as a result. So it's going to get immense use. It's going to require probably some hardware on the receiving end, the YouTube end, the Facebook end, whoever begins to adopt it, and will require hardware on the sending end. And that's where Martin was talking about the GeForce 4000 or higher series cards. This is a 4060, which just happens to be a low profile. So this is going to be great to fit in. I don't think it's going to fit in a 1U machine, but you know, it might. I don't know. But anyway, this will be great, and we'll be building this in some of our portable systems because we like the fact that it's a low profile card and it leaves a lot of room above it for airflow. But this one has the AV1 chip on it. All the 4000 series will. The other thing that's got the 4000 series, that got the AV1 chip on it, and OG, you're the one that turned me onto this, is the Intel Arc series. This is an A310, but there's a whole series of these cards that have the AV1 chip on it. Now, they don't have the NVIDIA encoders on them. So, and I'm still continuing to play with this, and this cannot be used in conjunction with an NVIDIA card. So if you have an older, I'm here somewhere, if you have an older NVIDIA card that doesn't have the AV1 chip on it, you can't simply add this card to it. The two cards will not get along together. They're like, you know, they're like feuding cousins. So this is not going to work. Yeah, OG is saying that the 7000 series has the AV1 as well. And I'll continue to check that. The advantage of this little guy is that I think it was $99. It's not a lot of money. Whereas this guy is $350. Probably, maybe it can be had for $300 now, maybe even $250. Don't know, but there's a lot of difference between $100 and $250. But the idea is that if you can make this work, you can do it for pennies on the dollar. I think I'll be continuing to play with this guy and see if we can't make him work in a vMix production. You know, I think a lot of gamers are using this, but they're not using vMix with it. So there we go. So far as HEVC is concerned, there is a list of NVIDIA cards that will support HEVC encoding. And I think that's in the description of a recent vMix tutorial video on AV1 and HEVC. And I'll put that link in the description for this video as well. The idea is that there is a whole long list of cards that have chips on them that are capable of encoding HEVC. I was surprised when I looked at the list. For example, on the list is a GTX, so that's the older version, GTX 750 that could do encoding. Now, I don't have one, so I want to test it. I've got a 750 Ti, but that wasn't on the list. And that's in my old church PC. But what was on the list, and some of you are going to love this, is some of the 1600 series. And you want to check the list, but this, for example, this 1660 Super is on the list as an HEVC encoder. Now, there are not a ton of places that you can use this yet, but if all you're doing is live streaming to YouTube, and if bandwidth is an issue, and if you've got a 1600 Super, a 1660, I think some of the 1650s would work too. And again, you just have to check the list and compare it to what you have. But for example, Ken has a 3000 series. Was it a 3000 series or was it a 300 series, Ken? Maybe that's what it was. Anyway, you don't have to upgrade to the latest, greatest, $300 encoder graphics card if you don't want to. I think this guy is like, 150, 199, somewhere in that range. And includes, let's see, does it have a picture on here somewhere? I think it'll include 4 outputs, depending on the card, depending on who makes it and how they make it. It'll either come with 3 display ports and an HDMI, or a DVI, a display port, and HDMI. Lots of different options there. And these work great with vMix, and we use a lot of these in our church builds. And the fact that they'll do HEVC now, of course, means that we can go back to those clients and say, hey, if you're experiencing bandwidth issues, you can go back to what you already have and just make it and update your vMix, not upgrade, update your vMix to vMix 27, and it will support the HEVC encoder, and you can use that. And there've already been some tutorials put out on that, so we're not going to duplicate that here now, although I may put one out at some point. I'm just not going to do it yet. So that's a great option if you're ready for a card. It's a low profile option, and this particular card does 2 display ports and 2 HDMIs. So if you like HDMIs and don't want to convert, that'll give you 2 of them. This guy, my jury's still out on this one as to whether that's going to work with vMix. If it has enough encoding power, or if the CPU will have enough. I haven't tried this card just by itself. I've tried it in conjunction with, I think I used my 4070 Ti with that one. And then for those of you that are looking for a card a little bit more on the low end, that'll do HEVC encoding. Again, check the NVIDIA list, but this 1660 is on the list and is a great little card. Even though it's, even the dog years are like computer years, so it's 50 years old, but still it's a good little card. Okay, now Ken says he's got a 3050 that will run HEVC and not AV1. Okay, and I think I haven't tested it yet, Ken, but my theory is that they are relative equals, that you can cut your bandwidth by about the same amount with HEVC or AV1 and still get the same quality out there. So for those of you that are mobile, having something that can do mobile is going to be a big deal. Big deal. All right. Oh, let's give away some updates. So here's the deal on the giveaway. We're giving away 27 vMix updates. And it's a two-part process. And part of it is just, it's not even sneaky on my part. It's blatant, whatever you would call it. Somebody help me with the word that I'm looking for once I say what it is I'm saying. If you would like a license, you need to write me a, what would you call it? It's not a term paper or a thesis or it would be a statement. That's what it is. A statement in 27 words or less why you like vMix. Not worried about punctuation, not worried about spelling. Make the spelling as horrible as you want, Anthony. It's okay. We understand. 27 words or less. Doesn't have to be the full 27. 27 words or less. Why I like vMix. Post that in the comments of this video after the video is published. So you can't just put it in the chat right now. That doesn't. I mean, you can if you want to, but that doesn't count for the thing. And here's the thing. I'm bribing you to put comments here so that it helps our algorithm, whatever the heck that means. So you say, well, Tom, if I do that, I'm using a crazy made up name for my YouTube channel. How will you know it's me? That's the second part. The second part is, and let's see if we've got a graphic of some kind for that. We did. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. So the second part is, I want you to send your 27 words or less for your why I like vMix, for your free upgrade, to me at my email address. And if you want to do the QR code thing, that's the QR code for my email address. And that way I can match it up with the comment that you made in YouTube comments. Now, again, not the chat here, but the comments after this video is closed out. Come back and make a comment and say, hey, Tom, I want a free 27 update. Here's why I like vMix. And those words don't count. Then you have to use, but it's no more than 27. I don't want you to get too verbose. I want you to be concise, precise. What's the word? It's dancing around the edges of my brain. I'll come up with it in just a minute. But it's along the pithy. That's what it is. Pithy. I want you to be pithy and tell me not just, oh, I like vMix because it lets me do my church service, which is good and important. And I think that's why vMix was created, just so churches can live stream. I mean, I understand that's what Martin and Tim and the guys did when they started out. That was their idea. But I think it was a more universal idea. Yeah. So you can win one of 27 vMix updates to your current vMix. Now, this is not an upgrade. So if you've got HD, you're not going to get a Pro out of this. If you've got an HD, you're going to get a HD out of this. And the HD is going to be vMix 27 HD. 27.0.0.62. vMix has never had so many dot changes prior to a release. They have never released a version of vMix that has been this mature and this heavily tested because of the Zoom thing, I'm sure, just because it was tricky. And probably vMix was working with Zoom on this. It wasn't like Zoom just sort of said, okay, here are the rules. They were working together. It was a collaboration. And so sometimes Zoom would change something or would make something available to vMix that wasn't available in their regular SDK or whatever it is. Hey, Merle, welcome. Glad to see you. Glad to have you. Merle, if you've missed this, you can win a free vMix update. That is, you can get the vMix 27. You can get a free update. If you will, after this video is closed out on YouTube, if you will come back and make a comment and give me in 27 words or less what you like, love about vMix. You can even tell me what you hate about vMix. You won't win, but but you could do that. And then cut and paste your comment into an email and send me an email at this address right here. And that way I'll know it's you. And what I missed it. And in the email, if you trust me enough, you can put your vMix license key. Chances are a lot of you bought your vMix license key from me anyway, and so I probably have it on file. But I have to have your license key in order to tie it to the update. And you won't get a new license key. You'll have the same license key. So if you've got vMix installed on 2 PCs, it's not like you have to take a new license key to the second PC, although you will have to download the new vMix 27. But you get it directly from the vMix website, the little download free trial button, and that's how you get it. I know sometimes they'll be in the bottom right-hand corner of vMix, in the little green, it'll say update available. I've had some trouble with that, so I counsel you not using it and updating vMix while it's not running as opposed to while it is running. So yeah, Dewey's like, I can't say hello in less than 27 words. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hey, Jan, glad to have you. Ray, glad you're here. So that's the long and short of it. Yep, long and short of it. You got some card recommendations from me, and 27 of you will have a free vMix update. Yeah, what happens if I get 28? Well, we'll work on that. But 27, that's a bunch. $60 a piece, 27 of them. That's my gift to you for 2024. Yeah. And I also want to make you feel guilty, so you'll continue to watch this poor little show or something like that. All right, let's go to post show and we'll chat. Stick around. All right, Peter, I hope this lived up to your expectations of epic. It just, it had the possibility of being epic, didn't it, Maggie? Oh, one for the ages or one for the record books. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see. OG is talking about the ARC card. This is the A310, which I think is the baby of the whole group. Then the A380 and the 770 and the others. And we'll try to get some more information on that. Yeah. Let's see. Just looking through the chats. So I thought this was funny. When I looked at Matrix Board, and rumor has it 150 more shortcuts. Maggie knew there were 150 more shortcuts. She was just teasing me. Yes, people are having trouble with Windows 11. Not everybody, but if I'm going to sell something and I'm going to support it, I want it to be as bulletproof as possible. And if 5% of my clients have problems with something, that's a bunch of phone calls that I'm going to be getting that I don't need to get. Windows 11 has had issue, and vMix did I think Heath did a video on this several months ago about Windows 11 and things that were now turned on or off by default in the audio portion that you needed to go back and adjust to make it work right with vMix. And I guess if I ever have to do Windows 11, we'll have to learn about all that stuff and make it work. But I'll have to see. Welcome, Tom. I'm ready for some gumbo, especially on some of these cold days here. It would be good. Gunnar, glad you're here. Tommy is updating as he speaks. He got his update from Eastern Shore Broadcasting. Yeah, and he even paid for it. Can be impatient. Impatient. I'm free most days. Hit me up. I'll play with vMix Social. Yeah, that's the thing. You have to be on the same local area network. I don't think so. I hope not. I missed this one earlier. Good day, Tom. Because Bird Dog John is no longer doing NDI streams, you're my go-to guy. God help us all. Just kidding. Today's my birthday. Well, that's funny. That's funny. Who is that? HWTV Live Sports Broadcasting. Well, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help. And you can contact me directly if you have a question. I'm not the expert that John is on NDI stuff, but there you go. All right, let's see. Here we go. So Tommy's not looking a gift horse in the mouth. Thank you. Good. OJ, OC, how can you write me a statement about why you like vMix if you've never used vMix? Although maybe you like it for everybody else. That's good. All right, Caribbean Christian Broadcasting. Hey, John. Good to see you. Glad to have you. Let's talk about HEVC. That might help you out, or some of your buddies out down there if they're in a limited bandwidth situation. An example of an emoji that works and an emoji that doesn't work. And I don't remember where you're supposed to get them for their work. And this must have been in the montage. Yeah, there we go. Yep. Video Rams, welcome. Glad to have you from the Canaries. I agree, Peter. I agree. It's massive. It's the biggest version of vMix they've ever had because it's got so much stuff in it for so many different people. Thank you, Ken. Yeah. Tommy, there is no explaining this. No explaining this. Oh, this is funny. My audio sounded strange. Oh, that's good. That's good. Before anyone asks, wonder who might ask that. There's got to be a list somewhere. array of ones that work and ones that don't work. Let's see. There we go. Tom is always so formal. What a nice job, Thomas. Is the card not getting along with a vMix issue? Yes, precisely. Because unless vMix goes back and rewrites 2 or 3 lines of code, that's probably all it would be to make 2 video cards work simultaneously. No, and that's been the story even before AV1 came on the scene. You know, everybody says, you know, what if I take 2 2080 Ti's and put them in there? I'll have twice as much processing power. Actually, it works the other way. It slows the process instead of speeds it up. And that I remember Martin explaining that to me back in 2016 at the what was that stream conference we had in Atlanta? Anyway, Stream Tech, Stream Fest, something like that. Anyway, and he said it just, you know, all the communication between the cards takes up the extra time, and there ends up being some duplication of effort. So yeah. And Ken confirming that he's got one but not the other. Got one but not the other. So there you go. Well, that's one way to put it. Hello, Bill. Welcome. I've got some stuff on the shelf I need to check out for you. There you go. What is yellow, heart red? Oh, hands yellow, heart red. I'll have to see that one. Don't know. Here's the good old text. How will I know it's you and not Chat GPT? Well, put it into Chat GPT and see what comes out. That might be kind of fun and kind of funny. Well, you might, but I don't think anybody can really flunk. That's all right, John. Just get here whenever you can. Oh, Merle's already got his. I like vMix because it's the best. All right. Extra points if there are baby or puppy pictures. Could be. So glad to see Merle. Already got your update. Oh, darn. Well, okay. I think that is the key, Jan. You know, everybody says, oh, it's got a clunky interface. Well, yeah, it does. Oh, it's got so much stuff in it. Yeah, it does. But it can be kind of dumbed down and made easy to use. I teach people to use it all the time. And I didn't want to try vMix. It looked too, you couldn't see anything. Everything was buried in menus. I'm not a menu guy. I wanted it laid out in front of me. And once I got over that little hump, never looked back. The problem with vMix blew VidBlaster out of the water. VidBlaster is a footnote nowadays. vMix blew Wirecast out of the water. Wirecast is a footnote now. And that's unfortunate because vMix needs competition. It needs a base of people creating tension, I think. I think that's healthy. And it's the whole competition thing. Now, does Martin Sinclair need tension? Does he need people? Does he need Wirecast or VidBlaster forcing him to? No, he's so far ahead of those guys. But it creates a bigger total user base of all people. And I know Mac has got their stuff, and Wirecast is still around, and it's got people that still love it, but Wirecast people are coming to vMix in droves. In droves. Just saying. There you go. There you go. I agree. I agree. Yep. There you go, Ray. Dewey is so cute. All right, let's see. Let's go here. Let's go back here. UTV. I agree. There's a lot to say. Oh, this is beautiful, Bill. This is exactly right. vMix updates are the best value in software updates. In fact, a $60 vMix update is better than a free update in most other software. Holy cow. Hello, Alan. Welcome. Glad to have you. Yes, vMix has got a polished product with Zoom. And in fact, I think they were able to do more than they ever anticipated. Yeah. Yep. Glad to have you for as long as you can be here. Welcome, Bayview. Glad to have you. Let's see. Email. Yep. The email is, where is that? Lower third. I'm going to just plop it on top of this one. There you go. Tom at easternshorebroadcasting.com. I need to know who you are, and I need to know what your statement was, and that you wrote it as a comment, not in chat, but in the vMix comments in the YouTube comments after the fact. We'll leave that up there for just another minute. Yes, it is. I'll ask Martin to do that. Don't wait till Saturday, Eric. It's too much fun to play with. Yeah, I'm agreeing with that. I am agreeing with that. Well, Tommy, I don't know. What are you watching on? And hopefully it's gone by now. Welcome, Jim. Updating vMix, working with Zoom. We're going to get Jim on the show here before too long. And yeah, he's got some cool stuff. Now that football season's over, we can talk about some of it. It's both. Yeah. Send me the email right here and go into the comments for this YouTube after it's posted. Not now while it's live, but after it's posted. And give me your 27 words or less about why you love vMix. Looks good as gold here. I can't see anything amiss. Well, darn. Maybe the whole world is coming to an end. Lost me for a moment. That would have been 12 minutes ago, so that would have been right back at the end of the show. Here we go. Tomer, what do you got here? Let's see. I wish vMix will have more than 2 full screen outputs. Well, they did add more external outputs. I think you can have up to 4, is it now? But they don't come off the video card. They come off of a external output card, like a Blackmagic DeckLink Duo 2 would be an SDI output. Blackmagic DeckLink mini monitor card gives you an option of an HDMI or a SDI output, and it's a 1X card. It's a X1 slot card, a mini monitor. So that might work. We put those in a lot of the systems that we build because they take up just that X1 slot, and it's easy to make the excuse me, it's easy to make the external output work consistently. For new people, sometimes the whole monitor thing is confusing, but you're probably not there. But yeah, look at the external output, because now if you've got vMix 4K or vMix Pro or vMix Max, which is the same as Pro, you can do multiple outputs like that. Yeah, that we probably will see that. We probably will see that. We'll see card prices dropping. I mean, I don't think you're going to see a $50 card, but you might on eBay. I wouldn't hesitate to put an eBay card into my personal machine. All right, Dewey's building his first PC, rack mounted. It's purposely specified for SRT, replay, and play out. Would a 4080, and then we lost the rest of his text because it was too long. Do, if you're still around, give me the rest of it. Actually, the thing to do is to check the vMix website under their reference systems and match up what you're doing with the specs that vMix has provided. Yep. Well, it's time for you to own a copy. All right, Kent asked the best question. Kent asked the best questions. Is there a good workflow with Zoom and vMix? It seems like I always need to open Zoom to make things work in vMix. Well, good question. Ken, why don't you show me what you're doing? Make me a short video. Show me what you're doing. Hello, Jesper. Glad to have you. Describe the different versions of FFmpeg in the drop-down list. Well, there's FFmpeg, there's FFmpeg 1, and there's FFmpeg 2, I believe. Let me take a look. Wouldn't want to misquote you. FFmpeg. Excuse me. I take that back. There's FFmpeg, FFmpeg 2, and FFmpeg 6. And there's also FMLE. FMLE is the old Flash Media Live encoder, which is long antiquated. I don't know if you could even find a copy of it to download it if you wanted to. FFmpeg 2 and FFmpeg 6, I'm not sure why they're on there, but the last time I heard the vMix lads comment on that, they commented and said, don't use them, use FFmpeg. So I'm a man of faith. I have faith in what they're saying. I don't understand everything. That's why I have faith. Good question, Tommy. I didn't think of that. That would be a Byron Lindsay type of question. StreamCon, that's right. StreamCon, that's right. 4080 will be fine for AV1. No problems there. Now that is pithy. Well done, Joe. Joe's going to be on the show soon. How many nodules do I have in vMix? You mean inputs? I don't know of a module. It's same language, but separation. Today I'm running 91 inputs, if that's what you're asking. Golly, I hope not, Tommy. Yeah, I think you're right, Peter. I think even though Tim and Heath said in the vMix Funtime live show last night, which if you didn't see, you need to go back and watch in the vMix YouTube channel, that they are, they have lots of ideas on the whiteboard, but I still think competition is good. Competition keeps prices down. If you're a sole provider, you can charge whatever you want. Although I've argued this with Martin and Tim about they need to raise their price to be better in tune with what their value is, and they just refuse. They just refuse to do it. They say we want it to be accessible to as many people as possible, and if we raise the price, it will make it less accessible. And still, people, they pirate it. Yeah, I guess so. What category? What category would you do that? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. With great power comes great responsibility, Eric. 4 external outputs. I want to hear how that goes. And if it doesn't go well, how are you going to know? Your destination's going to drop frames. Oh, well, you can use let's see, let's look here for a second. Let me turn on my external for a second. Did anything bomb out? No? Okay. So now I'm going to check my statistics. And the output. Oh, that's full screen output. Yeah, there's probably nothing hooked up to external, so it's not gonna show dropped frames. Oh well. We'll work on that. We'll work on that. vMix won't upgrade itself for free. Well, there's a difference between an upgrade and an update. An upgrade means that you're moving up in version levels. So I can assure you vMix is not going to upgrade your HD to 4K or Pro for free. You're going to have to pay for that. vMix, the lads, spend a lot of time and energy creating new features in vMix, and they need to be compensated for it. And $60 is, frankly, not much when you consider the value of what you might be getting on in the future. I mean, folks that are using vMix 14 right now can continue to use vMix 14 forever. Well, I take that back, for 100 years. If you look at your license, if you go to settings and then to about, and you look at where the license expires, it fooled me the first time. I thought, what do you mean this thing expires next month? Not next month, next century. So if you can use it for 100 years without an update. So yeah, it's not a freebie, but you can win a freebie here. Yeah. Spencer says we're using vMix to control a digital scores table. It needs to be 1920 by 240. Any idea the best way to format this in vMix so that it looks fine? 1920 by 240. Huh. I don't know. I don't know. I would need more information. I would need more information. Yeah. Yeah. Feel free to shoot me an email or, or make a comment here, and I'd be happy to talk with you about it. TV Todd is jumping. I haven't thoroughly explored vMix 27 yet. And other than a few tweaks here and there, I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. I don't have the imagination. I don't have the ability to see down the road. There's nothing I need that I don't have. Will Zoom's integration support screen share capture? Yes. Yes, they were talking about that last night on the vMix Funtime live show. That the person, as long as they're not calling from a phone, that they can share their screen as a separate input on your end, on the vMix end. So if they're sharing a screen and it has a video in it, that'll be an input in vMix that shows the shared screen and has the video. And then whoever the author is, their video and their audio will be available in a second input. So yeah. Well, now, John, that's a good point. I would like to see a something more than what you and I have been able to work out with shortcuts on a green room. That's a great idea. Let's go into the vMix forums, and it's forums.vmix.com. Go to the feature section and do a search for green room and give it a plus. In fact, you'll probably find more than one listing for somebody that wants a vMix green room. And so +1 all of them. Yep. Hello, Mike. You didn't miss anything. You didn't miss nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Actually, if you want to, you can drag the little thing all the way back to the beginning and watch from the beginning right now if you want to. So yeah. All right. Jim says we use 4 outputs out of vMix when we do our game day shows. But you're probably doing a combination of 2 full screen outputs and then 2 external outputs. The point that Eric was making is that he can not do anything full screen and do 4 externals. So if he had, for example, a Blackmagic Decklink Duo 2, which is 4 SDI ports, the SDI ports are bidirectional. So he could have 4 outputs that way or other versions of that. So yeah. Joe says 911. In the software I use for my video production, I'm only allowed 25 modules at a time. Huh. Time to get into the next century, Joe. You're just a troublemaker. As long as they don't do to vMix what Vimeo did to live stream. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the lads are too emotionally attached to the software and what it does for people. I don't think they want to lose that. A thread ripper. Saw that last night. Yeah, I knew you did. I knew you did. And these 2 comments are interesting. How they stand on different sides of the aisle, the table, the world. Their pricing is low, and they're the gold standard. Oh my gosh. That's too funny. All right, John, good. Oh, you know what we ought to do, John? You and I and some other people, we ought to have a round table and we can use vMix Call or Zoom and do a Wednesday afternoon Streaming Idiot show, where we talk about some of this and just kind of, you know, chat it back and forth, and so we can all kind of get to the same page on that. Yep. And TV Todd wants to talk football, American football. Well, I think Maggie's probably not on here anymore, but Maggie is the world's best Detroit Lions fan. So careful what you say. She'll get you. She'll get you. She won't ship you your PI Engineering X Keys vMix instant replay unit. I wonder if the guys will continue to invest in features for vMix Call or not. Yeah, well, Mike, that was one of the questions last night in the vMix Fun Time Live show, which, by the way, you know, they don't post the whole show later. They post the show, but they don't post the pre-show and the post-show. And there was like 5 hours worth of questions in the post-show. And here's the trick. I had to go out to dinner. Sandy and I had to go out to dinner. So I left it running. I left YouTube up and I just paused the show. And I came back 3 hours later and finished it out with the post-show. I cheated. The question really is there some improvement in the underlying WebRTC that allows vMix to do something better with vMix Call than they've done before? Now, you know, John was talking just a minute ago, Caribbean Christian Broadcasting, about a green room. Well, obviously, vMix Call would be integral to a green room, as with the new Zoom integration. So maybe that's the kind of thing we could expect as a vMix Call improvement, when really it's a whole new feature. Yeah. Good. Let's put it on the calendar. I'll get back to you. 10 times better than Zoom. Well, that's because you know it better. Yeah, they did kind of dodge it. They're a dodgy group. Oh, she's still here. She's still here. All right. Well, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a fun day. Yep, fun day. Always fun to be on the day after, you know, vMix releases something like, you know, a brand new beta, or in this case, a new release. Yeah, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. All right, so we got to get Joe on the show. We got to do a roundtable with John. We got to get Andrew on the show. We got to get Jim on the show. So I got some emails I got to send out. And I've got a new client that I think you guys are really going to enjoy when I get him on the show. I want to do a whole series on TDs, on people that are using vMix to TD professionally, not just for their church or something, you know, that they're doing as a hobby. I want people that are doing it professionally. And so, and Joe, you may fall into that category too, but I don't want to talk with you about that. I want to talk with you about central control. But Dave is doing some great things, and Dave has a deep history in traditional TV. And so he's coming to vMix from traditional TV, and is loving it. Is loving it. It's you know, it's kind of everything he's ever hoped for in a box that he can put under his arm. So yeah, there we go. Well, Tomer, there is a forum section in vMix, forums.vmix.com, called feature requests. And if that feature request isn't already in there, sounds like it needs to be, because I'd give it a +1. Thank you, Bayview. It only is great because you guys are responsive. And that's what makes it fun. Yeah, that's what makes it fun. All right, well, I need to peel out of here. Yeah, I do. And get some real work done. Yeah. These little computers are not going to build themselves. They might update themselves, but they're not going to build themselves. And I've got one back here that's not cooperating. I think it may have a bad motherboard, but now's the time for it to have a bad motherboard, you know? All right. So I'm going to catch you guys on the flip side next week. What is next week? Let me bring up my calendar real quick. For those of you that don't know and may have been following it, I visit my mom in Virginia a lot. She's 90. She was 90. She died a couple of weeks ago. It was sad, but it was happy at the same time. You know, she needed to go home. And so the funeral is going to be Saturday week, February 3rd. And let me look at my calendar here real quick. February 3rd. Yeah, we'll have a Streaming Idiots show next week. Not sure about the week after that. So we'll just have to see. We will just have to see. Yep. Got some work to do there. But thank you. Thank you for those of you that have reached out with condolences. She was a great lady and lived a great life and is now in heaven having a great time, not attached to the body that was not taking good care of her anymore. So yeah. Thank you very much. All right. We will see you guys next week. And don't forget, if you want to do the thing, you know, the free update thing, you got to send me an email telling me 27 words or less why you think vMix is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but you can't say sliced bread. And you have to come back to this video after I end it in just a second and leave a comment of why you think vMix is the greatest thing since sliced bread in 27 words or less. That's your assignment. And you may just get a vMix update from that. Yeah. All right. Take care. It was good to see you. Glad to have you. Thanks for watching.